Hello and welcome back to Cozy Cottage Cross Stitch. My name's Donna. Hope you're all well. So what we're doing today is some colouring. Now when I had my other YouTube channel doing crafting, I always used to colour in little pictures to put on the front of cards, etc. Sorry, a bit of an iffy throat this morning. People always used to ask me how I do my colouring. Oh, please excuse me. Let's have a sip of my coffee. Got me coffee. That's better. People always used to ask me how I do my colouring. Just simply because they like the way I coloured, really. And always wanted me to do videos. Never really had the time to do it on my other channel because I was crafting 24/7. I would get up in the morning and do my housework and stuff, and then I used to sit at my desk crafting, and I would be crafting till 2-3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, so never really had the time. So with this new channel, I thought, what a good idea. I can actually sit and do some colouring with yourselves and show you my techniques that I use. So what I wanted to do, I have a bit of a witchy side to me, if you'd say. I love tarot cards and readings and all that sort of stuff, and I could never really get into it because you're supposed to have a set of tarot cards that you love and you love using. I could never find ones that I really liked, so I was searching online, and on Etsy I came across these gorgeous cards. They're done by Yampuff, and you can colour them in yourself. So it's a whole collection of tarot cards. This one's the Magician, absolutely stunning, and you can colour them in yourself and have them how you want them. So I done one last night, which is this one. Absolutely love her. So I just wanted to show you that I use pens to do my colouring. I do use pencils sometimes depending on what I'm colouring in, but I wanted these to stand out and be nice, basically have them very vibrant. So I did use pens on this, and I have done some shading as well, you can see. So what I wanted to do today was to show you, I mean it's a mess on the back, but I will be using a black piece of card for these, and I will be sticking them onto black card and then going around the edges with a gold marker. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is how I do the colouring and the shading with pens. Excuse me. Really have an iffy throat this morning, can't seem to clear itself, got a tickle in my throat. I was going to show you on here, this is the one that I'm going to be colouring, the Magician. She's absolutely gorgeous. But to show you on here will be difficult because it's such a small picture using pens. Obviously if you're using pens instead of pencils, the smaller the picture goes, the harder it is to colour in with them. So I have enlarged it and printed it on an A4 sheet so you can see that better, and then we might be able to show you a bit better with what I do. Now the pens I use, you can get all different sorts of fancy ones. They're mega expensive. The ones I love the most are these. These are the Tri-Blend, which means you have the 3 colours in one pen, and they're by Spectrum Noir. Spectrum Noir. Love these pens. I did used to have the big collection. I used to have the single pens, and I had every single colour, but there was so many of them in the end and it just took up so much room, and I like to have these on my desk where I can get to them easily. So I got rid of mine and I went for the Tri-Blend ones, which is the 3-in-1, which is good for those who are just starting out, because when I do my shading, I tend to go with the 3 colours. I start with the dark, then go to the medium, and then finish off with the light colour. Everybody's different. Some people only use 2 different colours. Some people just can't be bothered with the shading and they just colour in with 1 colour. I like to have a bit of shading to mine, so that's why I use the 3 colours. Do I use anything special than that? No, not really. The only other thing I do use is a fine liner pen. Sometimes you go tiny little nib on there, if you can see that. Sometimes if you go slightly over a line on your picture, the camera don't want to focus now, does it? Come on. Sometimes if you go slightly over a line on your picture, come on camera, focus. Yeah, as I was saying, if you go slightly over a line on your picture, you can just take your little fine liner and then you can just draw back over those lines. Now, my colouring's not perfect. I try to stay in the lines as much as I can, but every now and again you will slip or go outside the line. But another thing that's good for that when you're using alcohol markers is to have a white colour blender. This is not a fancy one, this is just one I got out of the works. I suppose you can pick them up in any sort of art store. It is plain white. It doesn't come out white, it comes out like a clear. And then what you can do with them is when you do go outside of a line, you use the white liner and go along it, so you can, let me show you quickly on here. If I use one of these, so just say for instance that was outside of my line, or this little end piece was just outside my line. If you work towards the line, you can use your pen to push the ink back inside the line. If you can see there, it's gone like a faded pink. So if you let that dry and then come back to it and do it again, you can push the ink back inside the line. Okay, so always handy to have one of these when you're working with pens as well. Anything else I use? I have a whole pack here of fine liners and all different colours. I keep them handy because sometimes when you're doing smaller pictures like this size, for instance, when you get into tiny little spaces, sometimes you can't always get the nib of the pen in there. It's so thin, like the bands around the hair, etc. So I tend to use a thin liner for that. So let's get on with this. So what I normally start with is the skin. So it will be the face, the neck, the arms, anything that's skin showing. I will be using this one. This is a fair skin blend, and I will be starting with the dark one first. Now what you've got to imagine when you're shading is, like any shadow, the shadow will be cast from one side. Now, saying that, I don't do that with all of the picture. I try to as much as I can, but sometimes you can't, especially when it comes to the hair. You're better off to shade up and down and then leave a highlight through the middle. So let's start with the dark one and I'll show you. So all I'm going to do is start with the darkest first, and I'm going to have my shadow cast from this side of the face. So I seem to go to this side of the face and then just cast the shadow down like so. Okay, so you can see that. So that's just on the one side of the face. Okay, you don't want to go too far across. And then all I will do apart from that is just pick out tiny little bits, like where the hair is, where you would have a darker bit of shadow, like that, for instance, around near the eyes, maybe a tiny bit up in that corner. Sometimes I like to put a little bit of shadow in just underneath the mouth and the nose, maybe a little bit across the eyes. Like so. I wish I could bring the camera in closer, but it doesn't zoom in and out, I'm afraid. So you can just see that under the eyes, around the hair, and just on that one side of the face. Then I will go to the medium skin. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to colour back over the colour that I've just done. Now all that helps that to do is it doesn't change the colour, it just helps to blend it in to the next colour that you're using. Okay, so a little bit around the eyes there, and the chin, under the nose, around that eye, and just cast the shadow down from the hair. And in that corner. Okay, so that's the next colour. So it doesn't change the darker colour, it just drags it out to a smooth, and you don't get no lines with these marker pens either, with the alcohol markers. And then with the lighter colour, literally go back over all of them colours again. And as you can see, I'm just colouring. I'm not doing anything fancy with the way I'm colouring. I'm not going in circles. I'm just literally colouring. Okay, just blending. Blending the colours. As you go over the colours and pull them out like that. And then pull that darker colour down like so. Okay, so as I said, there's no right to wrong. As you can see, I am just literally scribbling this colour on. This is why I love marker pens, alcohol markers, because they just spread the colours out for you. And there you go, and that's the face done. Okay, as you can see, it's shaded from one side and gets lighter as it goes across. So we'll just continue with doing the little bits of skin. Obviously from under the neck you're going to have darker shading from under the neck and then down that one side. Okay, that's a little bit in that V where the cloak is and across the collarbone there. Again, going for the medium colour, just drag that one out a little bit. like so, and then finish with the light colour. Go over all of it, dragging that colour out so it looks like a natural shade. Okay, so let's do the arms quickly. So a hand up here, you have to try and think, where would the shade come from? Between the fingers, more likely. So just a little bit on the bottom edge of the fingers there, on the crease of the hand, and then up from behind her, and just up that one edge where the shade, where the shadow is going to be coming across from there. Same with this arm here, there's going to be a shadow cast down from the cloak where it's on her arm, on that side of the arm. Okay, this bit of the hand and on that finger there. Again, take the medium colour, drag that out a bit, like that. Again with this side. Again, what you're doing is just going from where your darkest colour is and pulling it out across the paper. Okay. I don't use any special types of card or paper to do this with. I know a lot of people do. This is just A4 regular card. Oh, where do I get my card from? I can't remember. It's nothing special anyway, it's just a regular card that I use for the printer. I just print out on it, and it's great for colouring with, because it doesn't allow the colours to seep. Where I colour is where I colour, and it's not spreading out across. With the printer paper, I think you do notice a difference. It's harder to get the colour to soak in there, and when it does, it tends to spread out a lot. So that's why I use card, not paper. So that's that bit. It's the arms with the shading. Okay. So, right, what we're going to do now, I thought I might make her cloak purple. So let's just have a sip of me tea. So I have this one here, which is called Dusty Purple Blend. Okay, again it has the light, the medium and the dark. So starting with the darker one, if we just go across the hood to begin with, and all I'm going to do with this again is just start from one side, and I'm just going to drag that colour across like so. Okay, I try to stick to the curve of where the actual cape is. So if the hood's going over that way, that's the way I will colour. I'll try to drag the colours out too. Okay, like that. And then obviously again from this side, it's a very dark bit underneath there, that's why that's shaded like that, around the lip of the hat itself. It's a bit more awkward to do if you've got little bits like that on it, leaves and things that's across where you're colouring. Obviously you've got to be careful with them, or you can just colour over them. If you're going to highlight them in whites, then you can just colour straight over them, or in a darker colour. Let's drag that out a bit more. Otherwise it's going to be too light for me. Like so. And then on here where you can see the crease of the hood coming down, I will just put a little bit there, because obviously that's going to cast a shadow on the actual hood itself. Okay, so just follow that line round there, like so. Then again, going to the medium colour, I'm going to recolour over what you've just already done. Okay, and again just drag it out. Okay, drag the colour out towards the middle. So theoretically what you're doing with each colour as you go along is you're going over the dark and dragging that colour out so it smooths off the edges, and then it's making this colour lighter. Okay, so same with this one. I'm just going to go back over what I've already done there and then drag it out like so. Okay, going over the colour I've already done and then drag it out. Being careful around there. And then just a little bit across there, because I've put that shadow on there where the crease of the hood is, like so. And then again, just with the lighter one, just literally colouring the whole thing, dragging the colours out and blending them in. Going over the colours that you've already done in that shade, because it drags them out. and up to there, like so. So then what you're getting is you're getting your shading. I'll show you that a bit there. On camera, focus. Right, so you're getting your shading coming across, okay, and where your lines are, and then up from that side as well, and it's leaving you with the highlight in the middles. Okay, so it's looking more natural. So with the hair, I'll show you very quickly. Always have a spare piece of card near you, because you will need to be trying your colours before you put them on to your paper. Like so. Now I quite like that colour, it's like a grey brown, so I'm going to use that colour for her hair. So again, we start with the darkest. Now when you do hair, I do it slightly different. With the hair, I take the dark colour from the top and from the bottom, so you end up with a highlight across the middle. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So if we just take this down from here, okay, again just dragging the colour down the paper like so. You want a little bit under here, and just coming out from round the back of where her face is. Okay, and then from the bottom edge here, I'm going to go up with the colour. You don't want to do it too far up, because obviously you've got to get 3 colours in. Okay, and then again with the medium colour, you're going over that colour and then just pulling that down to blend it out. Now I didn't get this style of colouring right to begin with. It does take a little bit of practice. It didn't take me long, I must admit, but then I'm used to colouring and drawing and all that sort of stuff, so I was kind of shading colours anyway, but I just wasn't doing it in the right way. But this is the way that I like to do it. Everybody is different, as I said. So again, you're just literally pulling them colours out and up like that. Okay, and then with the lighter one, again we're just literally recolouring everything we've just done. So I start in the darkest area, work my way down through the medium, and then drag it down into the light. Okay, I'll try and do the same from this side, just colouring through the dark and the medium and up to the light. Obviously I'm not going to sit here and colour in this whole picture with you guys, because this is going to waste a lot of ink, and I have a lot of cards to do. A lot of these tarot cards, 56 cards. So if you're interested in seeing more colouring, let me know, and I can come back on with you and do them. I'll leave the link to this shop where I got these down below, so if you're interested in doing colouring with me, what we can do is get your cards if you like these, or just get something that you like, your colouring book or whatever, and we can sit and colour together. That's the hair, as you can see. It comes down from, when the camera focuses, there we go. Comes in from the dark and the light. Sorry, please excuse my phone. You've got the dark at the top there, you've got the dark at the bottom, and then you're blending them out to the middle of the hair. Okay, so you've got your highlight going across the middle. I hope that helps you guys. If you've got any questions or you want any advice on anything, then please let me know. Don't be afraid to ask. I'm here and I can help. If I can, I will try my hardest. So yeah, just yeah, have fun with it, you know, experiment, do things differently, put yourself out there and try new things. If you are going to do shading with pens, then alcohol markers is your way to go. Okay, or you need some decent pencils. I have the whole Spectrum Noir colouring pencils collection as well, and they are special pencils and they allow you to shade as well. But if you're just starting out and you can't afford expensive stuff, then this is probably one of the cheapest brands. Copic markers, I wouldn't even go anywhere near. They are way too expensive. So unless you're a professional artist and you do illustrations for companies and things, I would stay away from them because they are mega expensive. These are the same thing, just a lot cheaper, and that's why I love them. I've always had Spectrum Noir pencils, watercolors, markers. Love the company, and easy to get replacements for, and easy to get inks for when you need to fill them up. So yes, you can buy bottles of ink for these, and you can buy packets of new tips as well. You get the colour in a small bottle. You take this out, you literally pour 2 drops of the colour into the centre of the pen. You put the lid back on and you've got it to use again. You can get new nibs as well. When you go onto Spectrum Noir's site, you get a whole packet of new nibs and a pair of special tweezers that you can pull the nibs in and out with without damaging them. So that's why I love this company. Or you can just buy a whole new pen. But these tricolours seem to come in packets of 4 or 6, I think they are. So yeah, or you can just buy the individual colours. But the individual colours, yes, you will get more use out of them because you have the whole pen that's about that long. You have the whole pen that's full of colour, and they do last forever. When I say about refilling a pen, when I had the whole pens, the bottles of ink, God, depending on how much colouring you do, I tend to do colouring once, twice a week, but that pen lasted 3 years before it ran out. So there you go. So yeah, just have fun with it. As I said, if you've got any questions that I might be able to answer for you, I will try and help you as much as I can. So that's it for today, guys. Have fun, and I'll speak to you all again very soon. Bye for now.